Okay, we're live. Thought we'd start off with a clip from Big Ed himself from 90 Day Fiancé. And we will, yes, Big Ed has his own YouTube channel. I will not be playing any clips from the actual TLC show 90 Day Fiancé because many who have been reviewing the show or reviewing the couples, participants, whatever you want to call them, have been getting copyright struck left, right, and center for playing the TLC clips, although rather false copyright strike because, well, if you ask me, the reviews seem to fall under fair use laws of the United States or fair dealing laws in Canada. But anyways, here we go. I thought we'd start off with a punch. Let's start this off with a punch. Okie doke. All right. Ready, steady, go.
Oh, hey, everybody. Big Ed here. Listen, since this whole before the 90 Day Fiancé thing started, I wanted to kind of keep track over the last 6 weeks. How people feel about me. And here's what I've compiled as data. So here we go. So told Big Ed I love you, 3,478,365. Now, to be fair, I also wanted to keep track of how many people told me to go myself. So that number came in at 3,478,364, which is only a difference of one. So you know what? I think I'm doing pretty good. I mean, more people.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hey, Hearts Love. Good to see you. Yeah, okay. The slow clap was for a reason. All right, we're going to stop the screen share because I'm not playing any more of that video. Yeah, okay. I don't know if it's his ego or if it's his insecurity, maybe a combination of the two. But dude, do you not have anything better I realize we're all in quarantine and you living in the state of California, which is a state that is in lockdown still to this day, I believe. But dude, do you not have anything better to do with your time than to count all your haters and your fans and actually do the math and find out that pretty much the country is split over you? Congratulations, dude. I believe that's what they call polarizing. Okay. All right. I know I'm being catty and nasty, but trust me, I will have some favorable things to say about Big Ed later in this video. Yeah, I know that will probably be the least popular one. Oh boy, where do we begin? Yeah. Now, I must keep note that I have not sat and watched a full episode of 90 Day Fiancé. Not really my thing. I never liked reality shows. And reality shows, I think most of us are in tune with reality. Yeah, pun intended. In touch with reality to know that reality shows are not really based in reality and that they're scripted for drama and such. Okay, that they are well scripted. All right, and lately it's mostly. Not everybody, but mostly the clips, the videos I've been seeing, the review. Hang on, Hearts Love. Some people think any attention is better than no attention, but not familiar with the situation. You know what? He has a YouTube channel now, and it is growing fairly quickly these days. I mean, yesterday morning or 2 days ago, he was at 670 subscribers. Now he's at 1.3 thousand subscribers now. Could he end up being the male version of Amberlynn Reed? That remains to be seen, but already that's getting off to such a start given the nasty comments that he receives. I think he was a jerk, just for the record, I think he was a jerk. He behaved like a jerk on the show. He behaved like a jerk to Rosemarie, but she's not as pure as the driven snow either. And I will get into all that later in this video. Hey, Juggalo Ninja 95. Hi. Welcome to Straight Talkin' Fedora Chic. Yeah, that is pretty fast, Hearts Love. Exactly. It is. So I don't know. Could he end up being the new male version of Amberlynn Reed? I don't know. I would hope not, but it's not shaping up to be a good start. But here's the thing about reality TV shows. shows like My 600-Pound Life or The One-Time Family. What is this show about dwarfs, families of dwarfs? I forget what it's called. And, and so on and so forth. All I noticed with, whatever happened to the good old days when TLC used to be the learning channel. But nowadays, it's not just these so-called reality shows. I noticed a theme to them, with the dwarves, more super morbidly obese people. 90 Day Fiance, which probably takes somebody downtrodden from a third world country, usually. That's how I've noticed it, from a third world country, and an American who can't otherwise get him or herself a date in their own country, let alone in their own zip code. So I don't know. If you ask me, I find these shows exploit the misery of others. That is my opinion on that. And this is no exception. No, this is absolutely no exception. It is exploitation of the worst kind. Once again, I will not be playing any clips from TLC because they're striking channels left, right, and center. So I'm not taking a chance here. But I think most of you have seen the clips to know to be able to follow along with what I am talking about. Now, from what we've seen, now keep in mind, a lot of this could be scripted because a lot of these shows, they do script for dramatic effect. They want things sexy and dramatic, a sexy train wreck, if you will. But according to what I've seen, thus far, Big Ed is a photographer and an interior designer, and he appears to be successful at what he does. And he lives out in San Diego, California. And when you take a look at him, he's basically the antithesis of what I don't know what society perceives to be a California dude. Yeah, so he seems to be the antithesis of that. And I can't imagine what his daily life is like. But I have heard interviews with him. Where he claimed that in his entire life he had been bullied due to his lack of height. Apparently he's about 4'11", 5 feet tall. And everybody calls him No Neck Ed, but because it appears he has no neck, and you can tell that the shirt collars go all the way up to his cheeks. But there's something I think most are not realizing while they're calling him No Neck Ed and making fun of him. Now, yes, he was a jerk on the show, and he behaved like a jerk to Rosemarie and her family. There's no getting around that, and I will talk about that most definitely. But don't make fun of his appearance. You don't need to make your argument, to hold someone to account. You don't need to make fun of their appearance, and especially in his case, because the thing that most do not know is he suffers from a rare ailment called Klippel. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this correctly. Klippel syndrome, KFS for short. It is basically a cervical vertebral fusion. It's a spinal anomaly. It's a spinal cord anomaly. So that would explain, so that's why he is that short. And why his body, usually the body shape of somebody with KFS is characterized by a large chest cavity, and almost no neck. In his case, he does appear overweight, but one does not have to be overweight to have that appearance of the large chest and the neck. The reason I know this is because I remember a real estate agent a long time ago, who was selling a house for selling or buying a house for my father. Either of the two. We moved around so often when I was a kid, it's hard to keep track which real estate agent either sold or bought real estate to help my father buy or sell real estate. But anyways, that's neither here nor there, right? But so anyways, Klippel, sorry if I'm KFS. We'll call it KFS for short anyway. So KFS, people can help their height anyway, but yes, people shouldn't be talking about appearance anyway. You're absolutely right, Hertz. Absolutely right, and that's going to be one of the themes I'm going to be I'm touching upon on this video. But especially if one's appearance is due to a medical condition that he was born with, he can't help that. I can't imagine. But like I said, the real estate agent that my father used had the same condition. He had KFS, and he too had that build. Okay, he was like super short and stocky, and the chest kind of protruding, and like no neck, kind of like the chin is directly fused onto the collarbone, if you will, or that's how it looks. And then so I suspected. I mean, I had suspected when I saw like pictures, when I first saw the clips of Big Ed, he reminded me of my father's old real estate agent. And lo and behold, he has the same condition. I didn't remember the name of the condition, let alone, as you can see, I can't pronounce it. But I did remember it was called KFS, for short, KFS. So, we shouldn't make fun of them. Like I said, I was going to interject with personal anecdotes to do a compare and contrast to illustrate my examples. So that's what I'm doing here. The other thing is, I remember, what was it, over 25 years ago, when Jean Chrétien ran to be Prime Minister of Canada in the 1993 election, I believe it was 93. Yeah, 93 federal election to run for Prime Minister. And he had a condition where his face was crooked. Like you can tell his face is crooked. I think he had Bell's palsy, and that's why his face was that way. Anyways, the incumbent party that was losing anyway. I'm not saying the leader, okay, the current prime minister of that day, Kim Campbell, I'm not saying it was her, but the people running her campaign decided it would be a good idea when running the campaign to make fun of Jean Chrétien's face, and that went over like, well, a lead balloon, as it should have, as it should have. So I don't see that being any difference. This to say the story of Jean Chrétien, who did become our prime minister. I don't think this is any different. Like the campaign managing people, making fun of his Bell's palsy and the appearance of his face. It's not much different than making fun of somebody's neck because of an illness like KFS. It's not fair. It's not nice. Yeah, the man was a jerk. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that, but it's not because of his appearance. It's not because of his appearance, although it probably stems that he knows he's not attractive. I've heard him in interviews. He knows he's not attractive, not according to societal beauty standards, and certainly, I would guess, not according to California standards. Like I said, he looks like the antithesis of the stereotypical California dude. But I'm wondering if a lot of it was insecure. It appears he had not had a relationship with anybody in close to 30 years, like not since his 29-year-old daughter, Tiffany, was brought into the world. So times have changed even since the 90s in the dating world. I mean, back then there was no social media. The internet, it was just starting to become available at home. But it was that old crinky noise, squeaky noise, dial-up tone, right? That old dial-up tone. And there was no social media back in those days. It was just the old chat rooms, IRC, MSN chat. And people met in those rooms. And I suppose some ended up getting together in those rooms. But that was just like before then, 1993, before then, when his daughter was born. Or right around the time he might have met his daughter's mother, and apparently he was unfaithful to the daughter's mother. Anyways, yeah, he was unfaithful. So anyways, times have changed, and I can only imagine the culture shock he had. It turns out that he and Rosemarie, hang on, heart's love. Yeah, we know people build up defense mechanisms around physical insecurities, but of course doesn't excuse being a jerk. Yeah, you're right. You're right, heart's love. I wasn't excusing it. I was just I'm just offering it up as an explanation. You know what I mean? But I really think that let's tone down making fun of his appearance, because the more you make fun of somebody's appearance or something that somebody can't control, or you critique or you slam everything about them, the more misanthropic they're eventually going to be. Trust me. Okay, I'm a well-hated person in real life, okay? Maybe not on the internet with my internet friends and my channel, but in real life, I am well-hated, okay? And I'm hated usually because of my appearance, And trust me, they don't get past my face to even get to know the fact that I'm actually crazy. You know? So yeah, and I find myself becoming more and more misanthropic because of it. You know, I was hurt badly last November. I'm still hurt by that experience, and I find the experience has made me more misanthropic. It's made me bitchier. You know what I mean? Some of my values have changed. Okay, I used to be all for positive reinforcement. Nowadays, I find negative reinforcement to be a marvelous idea. You know, hey, Captain Fish, Father Fish, it's good to see you. It's been a while. Yeah. So, so yeah. So, anyways, so we see him. You know, he lied about his height to Rosemarie. They met on Facebook, and he lied to Rosemarie about his height. Okay, and this is a common trait, and usually it's due to a low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. Usually, yes, there are some who are pathological liars who can't help themselves. It's like this pathological need to tell lies. But you know, a lot of people lie on dating sites and so on. They try to, you know, put their best foot forward, and oops, they embellish and they step over that line. I find that to be one of the stupidest things you can do, because if your intent is to one day meet, and perhaps pursue a relationship, they're going to find out how tall or not that you are. They're going to find out how much you weigh. If you tell them that you're blonde and you show up as a brunette, you know what I mean? It's gonna be problems. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, good. We're mingling with each other. Excellent. So, you know, this whole thing lying on, so yeah, he did a lie online. And another thing he didn't disclose to her, he did not disclose to her was, and this is an important thing, like, but I don't think it's as important as the height thing, lying about your height. I mean, after all, you haven't met in person yet. It's kind of like the courting stage, the dating stage. And traditionally, that's when you figure out who you get to know each other. But this is 90 Day Fiancé, where you travel across the world. You start off having an online thing, so it's all got to be done down packed in 90 days. But yeah, he does. He does have a great channel. Father Fish has an excellent channel. Go show him some love. His channel is called Captain Fish. We just call him Father Fish, because you got to hear him when he gives Bible study class. It is sheer. How do I put it? Let's put it this way. He did Bible study class on my channel, what, a month or two ago? And that's how we nicknamed him Father Fish. And not only do the ladies love his voice, but he was so funny. He was so freaking funny. You know, the interpretation that he read, a little bit racy, you know, it was so freaking funny. But we mean it, Captain Fish. Father, we mean it. Father, bless me, for I have sinned. I am glad you're here to give me some spiritual help. I am glad. Yeah, Hearts Love. The video is still up on my channel. I'll send you the link to it later. Because you got to hear Father Fish give Bible study. It is a work of art. Trust me. It is a work of art. Okay. So anyways, where was I? This is the problem. I get distracted from what I'm doing and what I'm saying. Where the heck did I leave off? Hearts Love, you know that my memory falters me a lot. Where did I leave off before I introduced Father Fish? Where did I leave off? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. We might as well. Okay. For those of you who are new here to Straight Talkin' Fedora Chick, we are a storytime / commentary channel. And if you're into that kind of thing, please consider subscribing and give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Or if you don't like it, you can give it a thumbs down. And also, thanks for putting up the Discord server. Yes, Hearts Love put up the Discord server. I have a Discord server. Well, I share it with a lot of people, and Hearts Love included. And Father Fish is also a member. He provides spiritual help and music to keep us entertained. So if you're interested in joining some awesome people, we have a lot of rooms to suit all different tastes and moods. Consider joining the Discord server. Hearts put the link up. Next is the obnoxious e-begging portion of the show. It's my friend Josephine's favorite part of the show, it seems, apparently. The obnoxious e-begging portion of the show. If Hearts Love is still around, if not, I'll put the link up in a few minutes. If you wish, thank you, Hearts Love. If you wish to support the channel, you may do so at Patreon. Go, Hearts Love just put the Patreon link in the chat. Please feel free to go check out my Patreon. I will have Patreon content up this weekend for the monthly content. For a one-time donation, you could also support the channel with PayPal, or a free way to help your girl, if you haven't already, like I said, is to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Yes. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Yeah. Okay. So anyways, yeah, I think Big Ed, he comes off as a chauvinist. That's a given. And I think that's another reason why he cannot attract a local girl in his own zip code or even in the United States of America. But even then, I mean, there are plenty of American women who are more traditional, you know, who are not super ultra modern. There are, I'm sure they even exist in the state of California, maybe even within his own zip code. But yeah, you know, there are women who are, you know, might enjoy more old fashioned, who are more traditional. Then the thing about him being a jerk, like I said, was it nerves? Was it stress? Is that really his personality? Does he really not know any better? If we're to take him at his word that he has not been in a relationship for close to 30 years, and in all honesty, what modern man of today would brag about that? Let's be honest. It's kind of emasculating. So I don't see how I don't see how that could be a lie. So yeah. So back to what I was saying. He lied about his height, which was wrong. And I told you why, because even if you're going to start to date and meet each other in person, they're going to see that you're not tall, even if you put on a pair of lifts. Okay. You put on a pair of black sport shoes. It just ain't going to cut it. Right. Thank you, Hearts Love. I haven't watched all his videos. I only saw the one that was uploaded today that I played the clip at the top of the video where he's counting his haters and his fans. Like I said, that's evidence of low self-esteem or a major ego or a combination of the two. Okay, a very fragile ego or a combination of the two, because even in quarantine, like, oh my God, don't you have something better to do? But the other thing he had lied about was he was clear that he did not want any children. He's 54. Rosemarie is 23. Okay, she's old. Okay, she is 6 years younger than his daughter. Do you know how gross that is? No, that's freaking ass gross. And that is a sad testament. Yeah, that's a sad testament. Okay. She's 23, he's 54. No, seriously. Okay, and a lot of these men no wonder, as Frances McDormand character Zoe in the movie Something's Gotta Give, when she says at the dinner table to Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton, and Diane Keaton, older women are about as fucked the demographic as can be. Now, I know it's a fictional story, but, you know, that is certainly based in reality. But, yeah, what is this? What is this with Gen X men having to go for girls their daughter's age or younger than their daughter? Seriously. I don't know. Wouldn't you? And then this is not just for Big Ed. This is just for any and all Gen X males, okay, out there, okay? Wouldn't you rather somebody who lived through the 80s at the same time as you did than with somebody who wasn't born yet in the 80s? Just a thought. Somebody who actually knew the Brat Pack or witnessed the Jane Fonda workout tapes. You know, according to some people, they won't allow women on dating shows over the age of 28. Ridiculous if true. Not in the case of 90 Day Fiancé, and I'll tell you why. There is another weird, haplessly mismatched couple This is a cougar and cub situation. Lisa and Usman. Lisa's the American. She's in her late 50s. She's pushing 60. And her dude is a young spring chicken from Nigeria. That too is gross. It's wrong. But I'm not talking about them today. But I'm just answering your question. NGL. I'm okay with not being. NGL. I'm not okay. Sorry, fish. Okay. Learn how to read again. Learn how to read again, girl. Learn how to read again. Yeah. I'm okay with not being in a relationship. I got to find myself before I can try to help someone else find themselves. Yeah, that's fair enough. You're young. Father Fish, you're young. You're in school. Well, maybe not today because of the quarantine. But you're in school. And you're figuring out what you want to do with your life and all that, and that's cool too. That's cool too. But what I'm saying is this, whether it's the Lisa and Usman, which I'm not going to dwell on today, really, because I don't know enough about them, except that they too have their own cringe factor. So, anyways, yeah. So the Gen X dude, 54-year-old Big Ed. Now he started calling himself that nickname Big Ed, because as he said, he has a big personality. Well, yeah. There's something about that personality, all right. I just haven't a certain je ne sais quoi here. There's something about it. Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that was weird about him is he dyes his hair and says that the dye irritates his scalp, so he puts mayonnaise in his hair. Can you imagine running around with mayonnaise in your hair in the hot California sun? You would smell like rotten eggs now, would you? I hope he washes that mayonnaise out. I hope. Because the idea is kind of gross. STFC is right, though. Older guys dating younger girls or vice versa is really weird and extremely creepy. Thank you. Thank you, Father Fish. I knew I picked the right dude for spiritual help here. Stick around, Father Fish. You had picked the right one for spiritual help. But anyways, as I was saying, so he puts mayonnaise in his hair. He's into manis and pedis. And yes, here in Montreal, there are more and more men going in for manicures and pedicures. No, not just gay men or transgendered F to M or M to F. A lot of men like their manis and pedis. In fact, if you notice more on social media, there are a lot of dudes who, if you notice, they're wearing nail polish. A lot of dudes on YouTube wearing nail polish. It's becoming an in thing, So okay, I don't really have much to say about that. But the other thing he lied about, like he said, oh, that's where I left off. Yeah, right. Okay. The other thing he lied about was he did not want any more children. Well, no kidding. Okay. You're in your mid-50s. You've got a daughter who's pushing 30. Of course you don't want to raise any more children. But Rosemarie has a 4-year-old son. She is a single mom of a 4-year-old son back in the Philippines. Yeah, she lives in the Philippines. And she wants more children. She wants a daughter to kind of complete out her family. And family is tradition, even in poverty-stricken Philippines. Families are a tradition. You're expected to procreate and have children, no matter how poor you are. Okay. So that was the thing. He said he was going to get himself a vasectomy and all that. So anyways, we see them first landing at the airport. And the first thing you can tell is the girl addresses the discrepancy. Like he said that he was the same height as her, 5'2", when in reality, he's not quite 5 feet. And she noticed it and she verbalized it. Now, got to understand that there is a language barrier. She speaks Tagalog, which is the national language of the Philippines. Her English is not all that proficient. And she has a heavy accent, so she's a little difficult to understand. And so, I'm sure things get lost in the translation somehow. So here are the things. I'm going to skip on to the 3 things that are the highlight. more than 3 things. Okay, they go through the market square in Manila, okay, a outdoor market square, and you see her picking money out of his wallet to buy stuff. And that too, I thought, okay, I get that you're poor, but it kind of shows that you're using the guy. But again, like I said, so-called reality TV, that could have been scripted. We have no way of knowing, you know. I saw that, but my grandmother and step grandfather had a 38-year difference. Oh wow. Okay. I see. Sorry. Okay. So the part where he's grabbing the money, you know, out of his wallet. Okay. Like I said, it's still wrong to steal or pickpocket. But like I said, that could have been scripted. I don't know. But got to imagine, would the producers of a reality show go in so far as to script something like that? Her picking money out of his wallet? I don't know. I think that would be even a new low for any production company of a reality show. And the other thing that was mentioned by Ed before they took off to the Philippines was that her sister messaged him on Facebook asking for money. And he apparently did not send the money. He said he would, when he would get to the Philippines, they could, quote unquote, discuss it. I don't know if that was ever discussed. Somebody else who watches the show more religiously could perhaps share that detail with me. I don't know. I don't know if that is, yeah. So anyways, but yeah, so be that as it may, I don't know if that discussion ever took place. But he was starting to have the red flags, and apparently his friends and his family had all told him before, like, don't go to the Philippines and that, don't go. And the other thing is, he had stated from the, you know, he's used to his charmed life in California, right? Just for me personally, I prefer someone who can relate to experiences from my generation. But some people genuinely prefer older partners, but the reality shows can script anything. Yeah, absolutely right. They have behind the scenes info about show on Reddit and other forums. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be curious if it's mentioned. I would be too. I would be curious to know, like, how far did they script it, and how much was it a real actual dialogue, you know? But you can tell, like, all through the show, she can't look at him. She doesn't even want him to kiss her. Like, you could tell she's cringing, you know? She's cringing. She doesn't want to look at him. And here's the thing, and I'm not saying this to be racist or prejudiced, and it's not exclusive to those from, you know, to young women from the Philippines, but these mail order brides, a lot of them do come from the Philippines. They also come from Russia, the Ukraine, any country that is poor, and a woman seeking to get out of her situation to come to America and lives this insecurity with an American dude, an American husband. And yeah, this happens a lot. So I mean, to me, it was quite obvious, you know, she was continuing on with him and giving him other chances. You can tell she was cringing. She couldn't handle him or the way he looked. You know, she couldn't even look at him. She couldn't let him kiss her. You can tell, like, when he was massaging her feet, that she was greatly uncomfortable. And yeah, your grandmother was a mail order bride. Okay. But, you know, it's a fact, you know. I'm not saying this to be prejudiced. I'm just saying it's a fact. A lot of them, it's not just the Philippines either. They come from, you know, they come from Russia. They come from the Ukraine. They come from poor countries. And this is their way to seeking, you know, to get out of their poverty-stricken situation, you know, is to marry an American man, you know, to marry an American or a Canadian, because, yeah, there are Canadians who take mail order brides too. So anyways, but the thing is, if she didn't like him and she was cringeworthy, like, I don't know what contracts were signed. And obviously she probably would have had to have signed through an interpreter, because, like I said, when she speaks, her spoken English is really not great at all. So I can imagine her reading comprehension of English must be non-existent. I don't know what was signed. I know non-disclosure agreements were signed. That was said over and over again. But TLC, with all their participants and all their shows, they're notorious for having them sign these really super duper ironclad non-disclosure agreements. Yeah, I should have clarified. She was a mail order bride, which is why she and my step-granddad had a... okay, got it. I gotcha. Okay. So what I don't get, though, is like how much... I mean, for the sake of the show, 90 Day Fiancé, for the sake of the production company and TLC, how much freedom was there? Like, could she have run away from him or just told him after the first time? Like, you can tell she can't even look at him. She doesn't like it when he touches her. So what would it take? Like, would it have been a serious breach of contract if she said, no, I don't want to be with him anymore. I'm done with, that's it. I'm done with the show. They could get her on breach of contract, but how would the optics look for TLC and the production company, which I believe is Sharp Entertainment? How would it look for a production company go suing an impoverished girl in the Philippines? Okay, a single mom, okay, an impoverished single mom in the Philippines. How would it look if a multi-million-dollar television station went after her? Okay? Yeah. I know there's a secure contract. Hey, Kim, good to see you. Glad to see you. I hope you're doing okay today, Kim. Hope you're doing okay. So like I said, I don't know how but even as ironclad as that contract is, are the couples forced to stay together throughout the duration of the season of the show? Are they free to bulk and run and never see them again if that's their inclination? And as I said, even if there was specified they had to stick with them, like I said, how would the optics look for a multi-million-dollar television station in America going after an impoverished single mom in the Philippines who lives in a pretty much a cardboard shack? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They have a production company. Who knows when she even gets paid? Well, that's the other thing I learned, okay? And I learned this because I've actually been doing research on the lawsuits regarding my 600-pound life. And as it turns out, okay, the participants of the shows, they're not paid. And that's always been the case in every reality show, whether it was way back in the days when Survivor started or whatever, these so-called, they're not paid really. They might be paid a little bit for their expenses, whatever expenses they incur while filming, but they're not paid. Okay, that's the thing. This is why a lot of television stations now opt for so-called reality TV, because they're cheaper to produce. Okay, you don't have to pay the multi-million-dollar salaries of actual professional actors, right? So, so anyways, but I don't know what would it have taken for her to leave, which also kind of led me to believe she's gold digger. Like I said, like the two of them had their character flaws. Both were wrong, in my opinion. Both were wrong. You know, I get where she's coming from. This is probably, she thought, getting a green card husband, go to the United States with her son, a stable father perhaps for her son Prince, because it's obvious. You can see that she's cringing and she can't even look at him. She didn't love him. Yeah, did he insult her? Absolutely. And he insulted her on a few occasions, but there are ways of going about that. The thing was, one of them was he had asked her to shave her legs. And this is something, I don't know, when you're a young girl and you're a single parent and you're living in poverty and pretty much you're spending day by day how you're going to feed yourself and your child and perhaps the rest of your family when you're living that poor, I think vanity is the last thing on their mind, okay? Honestly, I think vanity and looking all nice and pretty is the last thing on their mind. And I think Big Ed in his charm California life just didn't quite grasp that. You know what I mean? Hey, Olive, good to see you. Good to see you. Olive, I'm sorry, but sorry, Olive, but I'm going to have to disagree with you there. That's okay if you're doing laundry. I wish we could have a laundry thing. Try going to bed. I'm sorry, sleep is not happening, Kim. Yes, Fatherfish. I'm sorry, Kim, it's not happening. I'm sorry, sleep is not happening. But, I mean, you can't tell me she loved him. Sorry. No. And like I said, it's not a racial thing. This happens all the time. Okay. And generally, as a rule, I've noticed when observing dating sites or online dating or these couples, these May December flings, the man old enough to be your dad and the cougar and cub thing. Okay. Here's one thing. Okay. What do you have in common? Nothing. Absolutely nada. Nothing in common. And the other thing is, much younger women, and this is, much younger women as in today's age, no disparaging, in today's age, even young girls here going after local older men, there are two reasons they would do it. One is daddy issues and the other is money. Okay. And sometimes both. Okay. Maybe we're all different, but when it comes to the relationship game, we're all the same, basically. Seriously. I've noticed this in my years and years of researching dating sites. The dating coaches and the relationship coaches give the same bloody advice. They give the same advice. Okay, they give the same advice, and they give this, and they're very divisive. And singles, especially those who have been single for a long time, they follow them and swallow their Kool-Aid. That's why I will be single forever. That and because I'm too old. Okay, so anyways, the other thing was he had, like I said, but shaving her, him nitpicking at her for shaving her legs. Yeah, very shallow, very, very shallow. Like I said, vanity would be the last thing on her mind. And the other thing that seemed to be insulting to her, deeply insulting, the way he went about it was insulting, but in another way, I kind of get it as you get older. And that was when he asked her to get tested for STD. Now, here's the thing. What he should have done, and this was mentioned in interviews, that his own daughter told him, "What did you do?" And it's all in the approach. It's not the request itself. It's in the delivery. Sometimes it's in the delivery more than what is said. I think it is fair if you're planning to have an intimate relationship, especially, in the post-AIDS HIV world, the post-HIV AIDS world. I think it is fair if you're planning to become intimate, and each of the couples on their own end goes and gets themselves a checkup. Okay, an STI checkup. I think that is fair to ask each other mutually, both of them equally, to go do it. Even though he hasn't been with anybody in 30 years, still, it would have been fair for him to do it. If he was asking her to do it, just to show that he's being fair to do it. But it came out the wrong way. It just came out that, oh God, you're a slut. Oh, that's how it projected. That's how he projected it. Oh my, and that's, of course, it's insulting when it's delivered that way, right? Of course, it's when it's delivered that way, it's insulting. It's hard, and it's potentially harmful. But I think overall, it is a fair question to ask when a relationship is progressing and you're getting more serious with each other and you want to become intimate. I think it's fair that each of the partners might decide to ask each other mutually to get such tests, STI or a blood test for HIV AIDS, it also depends on what the healthcare system will allow. Now, I imagine in the Philippines, from what I know, there are no social safety nets, which means somebody who is poor would not necessarily have access to adequate healthcare to begin with, let alone a test for an STI. You know what I mean? It's a necessary conversation. STI could have been a positive example on TV. It could have been. That's it. This is where it got buggered up. This is where it got buggered up. Because I think it is a fair question to ask each other. Like as he said later, hindsight is 2020, and he said his daughter said you should have gotten before leaving. You should have gotten a test done in the United States. Gotten your test done. When you were asked, and then when you ask her for the test, you show the paper that look, I had this test done. Can you please have it done? Something, it's all in the delivery that sucks, right? No, there isn't much tact with him. No, there isn't. Okay, and no, there isn't much tact. Mind you, I don't have much tact either. So I have that in common with Big Ed. I don't have much tact anymore. Maybe I've gotten too old, but he's not that much older than me. Let's put it that way. Okay. I'm not that much younger than he is at all. So yeah, but yeah, too much tact on his part. Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying, Olive. If you heard me, that's what I said. He could have been delivered. It could have been much better delivered. Absolutely. Oh, they can get free testing. Thank you for the information. Okay, because I was under the impression the country had no social safety nets, and hence the intense poverty in that country. It has always been a matter of personal choice. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay. So, okay, I stand corrected on that. They do offer free STIs in the Philippines. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, because I was under the impression, it might have been prohibitively expensive for someone like Rosemarie, who is poor, But yeah, it could have been delivered in a much better way. But it is a fair question, to discuss and discuss, like I said. Yeah, exactly. And I think free testing, that's one of the things that should be offered free all over the world, actually. You know what I mean? That and the blood test for HIV AIDS. That should be free all over the world across the board. Absolutely. Because it's not just a healthcare question, it's a public health issue. It is a public health issue. We have reproductive health care law. We have reproductive health care law wherein family planning is a thing here. Sorry for speaking up and trying to change some people's views. That's okay. We accept differing opinions here, Olive. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. It's all right. So yeah. So that's the end of the STIs. Now there is an episode coming up this Sunday. Okay, there is an episode coming up this Sunday. But we saw the spoiler of it that he takes her to some resort. I don't know where. But it looks like it's Rosemarie's favorite first airplane ride, and they take an airplane. They get to the hotel, okay, and then once again, Big Ed with the cringe moment. Okay, he gives the first two gifts: a bikini and this very lacy, flimsy teddy. Okay. You still, I don't know, in that stage, like I said, maybe you're supposed to get it all cinched and sealed in 90 days. But I find that to be a highly inappropriate gift. Now, if she didn't have a bathing suit, if she didn't own a bathing suit and he was planning to spend a lot of time on the beach or go swimming at this resort, and maybe she didn't have a bathing suit, yeah, maybe let her choose one for herself. Rather than a bikini, if she was uncomfortable in one in front of him. But the teddy was definitely inappropriate. And also in the spoiler, he gives her three other things which, quote unquote, are not so romantic. And that was a tube of minty toothpaste, mouthwash, and a toothbrush. And, that reminded me of an ex about, what was it, in 2004. An ex in 2004. He gave me a Swiffer mop for my birthday. That's the flash I got when I saw that clip, that I was offered a Swiffer mop for my birthday. It's like, ugh, God. I like practical gifts, but not like that, something practical. I don't know, like a new blender, a new blender, an air fryer, a new computer chair because this one's falling apart, that kind of practical gifts would be nice. But, so it's kind of like the hygiene gifts, the gifts of the hygiene, implying that she had poor oral hygiene. And then she claimed she had told him that she had a stomach ulcer, and that's what caused. Now, I did a research. Look, I did a quick Google search. I've had stomach ulcers from the age of 17 on and off throughout my life. It has caused me. And I did the research. There is a correlation between bad breath and ulcers. It's something about the bacteria in stomach ulcers that goes up. God, it's too sciencey for my thing, So anyways, as I was saying, so he didn't know that she had a stomach ulcer at all, And anyways, the clip ends up like he's saying, "I love you," and she says in Tagalog, but the English subtitle says, "You're ugly." The English subtitle says, "You're ugly," and he's there. I hope she means it. Hope she means it. Well, here's the thing. No, not quite. Now, again, because they're given non-disclosure agreements by TLC and by the production company to not discuss and not really give away anything of the outcome, Rosemarie did an Instagram post, which is now deleted, which sort of hints that she may no longer be with him. It was a very angry post. Like I said, her English is not that great, and it's hard to understand. The sound was difficult to understand, but from what I gathered, it doesn't look like they're still together. God, I hope not. Really, God. Like, these two should not be within 20 city blocks of each other. But here's the thing. I think Big Ed has a lot to learn, and maybe he could do well by chatting more with his daughter. Chatting more with his daughter, or, getting to know, the proper way, not just to talk to women, but, not just talking to women you may or may not have a romantic interest in, but just women, like female coworkers. You know what I mean? Learn. I think the only one couple from any of those shows stayed together that I know of. Oh, okay. Okay. Good. All right. So what's the thing here? Okay. So what I'm getting at is, while I don't really like either of them, Rosemarie or Big Ed, at the same time, I find them both relatable. Okay. I think Big Ed had lived in his charmed life, and the fact that he was exposed not just to this abject poverty, but discomfort, real primitive living, like, for instance, having to bathe out of a water and bucket and a hose, having to bathe that way. There was a rat in the area, a rat or a mouse or something in the area, sleeping on the ground. Okay, sleeping on the ground. And Miss Yu says, I gotta have my 1,000 thread sheets. Trust me, I also have dermatitis just like he does, okay? It doesn't matter how many threads my sheets have. I'm still gonna have dermatitis flare-ups, okay, all over my body. But, and he's picky eater. I think he led a charmed life, and I think even though the experience with Rosemarie may not have been a positive one for him, I think there is a takeaway that he learns that there is a world outside of his own, that there is this abject poverty, and instead of slamming it and critiquing it, I'm not saying pity it, but you don't slam it and critique it either. It is what it is. It is what it is. This is how they live. This is all they can afford. The family lives together. You know what I mean? The chances are slim that they would click based on the format. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that, Heart's Love. I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that, Heart's Love. So, but it's this whole thing. You know, I can see why Big Ed may not want to, you know, it's like Big Ed in his interviews, I felt for him because I felt for him because I know what it's like to be bullied for their appearance. I have been bullied since yay high for my own appearance. Okay, because it was either my weight, it was either my face. You know, I've known from a young age that I was a homely chick, so I get it. I truly get it. You know, in a society that worships looks, particularly for women, and yes, societal beauty standards are far more stringent for women. I did a video on that last year, and I will link it in the pinned comment below. And in the description box of that video, there are articles that I used as my sources that you can peruse through and check my information for yourself. So you see, I can be held to account. I can be held to account. Yeah, it is cultural shock mixed in. Absolutely. Cultural mock. I would hope that a Big Ed would grow and learn. I would hope so too. To be honest with you, there are men who are jerks because inherently that's who they are. They're jerks. And then there are those who are not, who behave like jerks for whatever reason, whether it's because poor self-esteem or, you know, or for whatever reason, but they're not bad people beyond the surface. You know, of course I've never met Big Ed, but I've watched his interviews and I've watched some clips. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think I would date the guy, not because of his appearance, because everybody knows I'm not one to talk, but because of his behavior, his attitude towards women, and the idea of receiving some strange gifts like teddies and, you know, or telling me to shave my legs. It's like, no, dude, I will not shave my legs. Or tell me to wear makeup. No, I will not wear makeup, you know? But I don't think inherently, I don't think he's a bad guy. But Big Ed, you may want to try a woman closer to your own age. Let's put it that way. You may want to try a chick closer to your own age. And mind you, a lot of us are so old that we have a lot lower tolerance. We don't suffer fools lightly. But to me, he's relatable, like I said, because yeah, exactly. There are people who are intentionally a jerk and those who don't realize it. I see that. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you there, Heart's Love. I would absolutely agree with you there. I think you know, she's relatable. And I think many who have lived in poverty, maybe not to the degree that she was living, but there are people who do live in close to that squalid conditions. Yes, even in Canada and in the United States, that does happen, you know? And I think instead of shunning poverty or slamming somebody because of poverty, you know, I'm not saying necessarily charity, but we should be more empathetic, you know? We should be more empathetic to their plight, more understanding. Maybe offer a hand, you know, offer to lend a helping hand. Doesn't have to be monetary, you know. I don't know, cook and provide a meal or something, you know, something like along those lines. Something along those lines. But yeah, we need, you know, maybe, you know, if he took away like what's going on in that part of the world, corrupt governments. I mean, really corrupt governments, like the Duterte regime. But yeah, I mean, he could have had a learning experience from it, but it doesn't look like that he did. And I think that is sad. I could be wrong because the season's not over yet. Maybe he did learn something. Maybe he did learn to empathize. But here's the thing that I have to critique him on, okay? If he's been bullied his entire life because of his own appearance, his stature, and because he has KFS, why does he behave shallow to, you know, he has shallow demands of, say, Rosemarie or any women, you know, and just go on OkCupid and be honest or whatever during dating platform of choice and someone who accepts them for themselves. Yeah, exactly. But a lot of these dating sites, they don't do that. And the advice columns from the dating coaches that write articles, they don't reckon. That's a sad truth. That's a sad testament. A lot of them are promoting, fakery, manipulation, playing games. The divisiveness, like low and high quality women, low and high quality men, and the criteria for the quality. Okay, the quality of a woman, for instance, is measured by her looks, and the quality of a man, for the most part, is measured by his socioeconomic status. Yeah, rather than lie about his height. Oh yeah, no, I know. He should never have lied about his height. Absolutely not. That from the get-go, he should have been honest about that. Things that, should have been honest from the get-go. Because like I said, you're gonna meet her, she's gonna notice, and it doesn't matter if you're wearing lifts in your shoes, like I said. But so anyways, like she claims, so she's relatable in the sense that she has a vulnerability. She is vulnerable. She is a single parent. Family is important to her, and and family is important to a lot of people. Tradition is important to a lot of people. Women want children, but how to raise them in abject poverty, with the challenges living in poverty. So in that sense, she is relatable. She is quite relatable. She too, she wants to feel pretty at times, although she may not have time for it, raising her children, helping the family and all that, trying to survive. But yeah, and he's relatable, like I said, because, for me anyway, okay, maybe I'll speak for myself why he's relatable to me, like I said, because I've been bullied my entire life over my own appearance, I mean, heck, my own grandmother explained it to me. Okay. My own grandmother explained it to me years ago. Okay. She explained to me that God made pretty girls to get married and to have children and, have God's world go on. And God made homely girls like me to become nuns, to serve the Lord full time. And he gave us bad looking faces to repulse boys and men so we wouldn't be distracted from our actual calling. That's what I was taught at a young age. That's what I was taught at a young age. So I've known all my life. I know what it's like to be picked on, to be ostracized, to be bullied, to be left out, to be discriminated against because of my own appearance. I imagine it's the same for him, although he's managed to make a success as a successful career as a photographer. And that's the thing I've noticed with a lot of men with low self-esteem, You're 5 and you were teased for your height, really? Sorry to hear that, Hearts. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Hearts. And a woman, that's horrible, geez. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a good point you also bring up, Hearts Love, that you wouldn't be trusting them from the beginning. As soon as you notice they lied about something small like their height, what else are they lying about? What bigger things, are they lying about? And I've always been of the belief that little problems, more often than not, turn into way bigger problems. And it's best to nip them in the bud, sooner than later, right? It's much better to, nip them in the bud sooner than later, don't you think? So I was picked on, but found someone who just wasn't judgmental about looks, and we connected on another level. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm glad for you, Hearts. Hopefully they find someone who appreciates them on a deeper level. Yeah. And I was about to get to that, So, and it's a question I would ask Big Ed or anybody like Big Ed, who had a low self-esteem, who was picked on and bullied, so on and so forth. Like, for example, I had a friend who was overweight, like he was significantly overweight. And he told me he did not find any attraction with overweight women. He was not attracted at all to overweight women, but he was overweight himself. Okay, significantly overweight. And that is an example also of the video I did last year about the double standards of societal beauty standards between the genders, which, like I said, will be posted in the pin comment below. So the question I turn to Big Ed is, since you've been picked on and all that, and how much it hurt you, and how much, I can tell that, the low self-esteem thing, the social awkwardness, this sort of bravado. And I think what he did was he picked somebody perceived to be weaker. And in this case, the weaker person would be Rosemarie because of her poverty, her life, in poverty, rather than try to find a chick in his own zip code or somewhere closer to his own age, someone closer to his own age. I don't know. Somebody closer to his own age. But sorry, I'm losing track a lot tonight. I'm having a bad FTD night, I think. Okay, so I'm going to get off this stream soon. But hang on. Yeah, that as I was saying. So that question I wanted to put to Big Ed was, if you were picked on all the time, why are you in turn so shallow? If anything, given your own experience, you should be more open. And you should learn how to, if you really want a relationship with a woman, okay, you want a real relationship with a woman, perhaps one you take your time with, because I'm assuming it didn't work out between him and Rosemarie. I don't know that 100% because the season isn't over, but I'm assuming it's over. Okay, so if you're looking for a relationship, dude, and it could be another long distance one, who the hell knows? These days, people meet online. That's how it works. That's how I met my former best friend. I met him on Facebook too, and also through my old radio show online, my old blues show. Yeah, Classic Cuts with CK. I miss those days. Why, it's how it's done. Why don't you take the time to learn how to behave around women? Real respect, respectable women. You might be surprised at what you might find. You might be surprised at what you might find. But yeah, I thought I did connect on a deeper level with other people myself, but it didn't happen. Didn't happen. They turned out to be shallow as everybody else. Go figure. But yeah, and I think the thing is, I've mentioned, how much he was superficial and he shouldn't be after the way he was treated. And that's what makes it worse, in my opinion. That's what makes it worse. 100%. And respect your partner. Accept them for who they are, not change them. Absolutely right, Hearts Love. Absolutely right. Accept them. Love them for who they are. Embrace them. Okay? Embrace them. And something tells me the mayonnaise in the hair don't smell like a bed of minty toothpaste either. So, and this is something that can be corrected. Here's another thing. Men don't have to dye their hair. They shouldn't. I always found men who dye their hair, especially that dark hair dye, it looks like it's painted with shoe polish. But then again, they say women who don't dye their hair, dye over their gray hair, let themselves go. And men who let themselves go gray are considered distinguished, the silver fox. Looks and youth fade. Absolutely right. They are. Looks and youth fade. Looks and youth fade, unless you've got unlimited resources for plastic surgery, which I don't. I'm on a fixed income. I'm retired due to medical reasons. I'm not living in abject poverty, but I'm certainly far from being independently wealthy. Certainly very far from that. But yeah, I think, I don't know. That's another show I would like to see off the air. That's objectionable. My 90 Day Fiancé. I honestly, but like I said, as much as society tells us and forces positivity down our throats, we all go for the train wreck. When we want our entertainment, we go for the train wreck. I remember my mother used to chase fire trucks, for instance, see the fire trucks and the sirens going, and she would go. Doesn't matter if it was out of our way, we would go follow them. You're in the car and we go follow them. And now it's people watching the proverbial train wreck on YouTube or on these so-called reality shows, right? Yeah. So anyways, that's about all I have to say on the matter. I'm probably going to lose a few subscribers for this, but okay. But like I said, I got to be honest, right? I got to be honest. That's another thing to learn from Big Ed. Be honest. Always. All the time. Be honest. Because I can't stand a liar. Yeah. And not too many other people can either. A lot of us can't stand liars. But be an honest dude. Don't be a jerk. And don't be superficial. And that goes for everybody. That goes for everybody else. Please. It's mindless. Chapo Bang, shut up. Hearts Love, do you want to get rid of Chapo Bang for me, please? You want to get rid of Chapo Bang for me, please? Hearts Love. Hang on. Thank you. Thank you, Hearts Love. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. So anyways, like I said, for there are no winners here, and they're both, there are no winners here. And I hope Rosemarie manages to find the man of her dreams and somebody who actually wants to be a father to her son and wants other children, wants other children like she wants. I honestly hope she finds. I honestly hope Ed, once he learns that he actually grows from this and he learns how to behave like a human being, he learns how to behave more like a human being, because I don't think he's a bad guy underneath it all. So I think there is potential if he's willing to learn. Hope he finds somebody too. So anyways, so that's it. Take care of yourselves and each other. Please take care of yourselves and each other. And please take care of yourselves and each other. And if there is somebody vulnerable in your midst, please check in on them. Either text them or call them in this day of quarantine. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right, Hearts. No reason for ugliness in the chat over differences of opinion. Differences of opinion I can accept, but he was rude. You don't have to be rude about it. You know what I mean? Look, somebody else was in here who disagreed with me, but she was respectful, and she gets to stay, and that's all good. But he was rude. That apple bag, he was pretty fracking rude. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Friends disagree sometimes, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But like I said, in my chat, be respectful, be respectful on my channel. Don't tell me to shut up. Like I said earlier, there's somebody else who disagreed, and that's fine. It's all good. She was respectful. So anyways, I wish you all a good night. Straight Talkin' Fedora check over and out. And pretty soon, I hope to have the video prepared reviewing Netflix's Unorthodox. We're going to talk about Esty. She has become, even though Esty is a fictitious character, she's become my new favorite person, because to me, she is a hero. So we'll do that soon. Take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you very much. Bye for now.